Hi, SymSoil is participating in the San Francisco Bay Restorathon, which is a project of Hack the Bay and Delta. And I hope that as a result of the work that they're doing, the work that we're doing, the movie Kiss the Ground, you'll feel inspired to become a small-scale carbon farmer. You know, most Americans don't realize that we throw out enough food waste that we could be sequestering as much carbon as 1.2 acres of forest land. Now, before you say compost, I've tried, it doesn't work. Let me just point out that food scraps are notoriously difficult to compost. The Local Carbon Network was actually created to solve this problem. Think of it as a CSA for small-scale carbon farmers. And we bring value to you whether you have just a few houseplants or a large garden. Every month, you'll get a package that includes a number of things. A biological inoculant that gives you the right bacteria to start off the decomposition process. A stimulant that will increase the speed at which it occurs. This is the sky carbon biochar, the black material in the center of this picture. Woody material, which balances out the high nitrogen of the food the way that the decomposition would happen in nature. And finally, as the compost starts cooling, a biological finisher, which adds the complete soil microbiome as described in the Soil Food Web. You can learn more by Googling Join Local Carbon Network. Composting, at its essence, is an attempt to replicate a natural system, but to speed it up. The fastest part of decomposition is done by the bacteria, and that happens in the composting process as well as in nature. In nature, though, it's a slower process, and there's multiple types of bacteria involved. Because of the nature of the way humans compost, whether you buy your compost from a nursery or it's bagged as manure and you're buying it, it's full of bacteria, and usually only one species. So let me contrast that with what happens in nature. And you'll forgive me if I nerd out for the next 30 seconds, but in nature, what happens is you have photosynthesis happening in the leaves, and that pulls carbon from the air, turns it into sugars and carbohydrates, and about half of that is extruded through the roots to feed the bacteria and the fungi. This in turn, in the course of their life, binds the essential elements, the NPK that is needed. And then these bacteria and fungi in turn are eaten by the protozoa, the nematodes, and they release these elements in ionic form in a very primitive, gross way. This is what humanity was attempting to do with the development of fertilizers. So what this looks like in real life under a microscope is this. Over in the lower left-hand corner, you'll see a nematode. That large black blob, that's organic matter. These smaller black bits are biochar. You can see over on the right, a fungal hyphae. These golden spots are the humic acids of various sorts. And to the right of the fungal hyphae, that rope-like thing is a protozoa. Now there's plenty of bacteria here, but they're so small that you can't really see it. What the Local Carbon Network package sends you is the material that can create a really powerful compost that includes the entire soil food web, as I've just described. And the reason that you as a small-scale carbon farmer should care about this biodiversity in the soil is because it changes the carbon sequestration. So bacterial-dominant compost will sequester a certain amount of carbon from the air through their plants and through their root activity and the biology. But Dr. Johnson of the Chico School of Regenerative Agriculture has found that if you have a fungal dominant soil or compost, something with a high F to B ratio, fungal to bacteria biomass, you can sequester as much as 4 times as much carbon as you can with a bacterial dominant compost, which is mostly what you're able to buy. So by subscribing to the local carbon network, you can create compost that is much more robust and will be much more beneficial for the environment. At the end of the day, SymSoil is a soil health company, and we're the fulfillment arm of the local carbon network and providing this biology, both the inoculant and the finisher. The local carbon network is one of 4 B2C offerings, but our primary focus is farmers, B2B. We create engineered soils to solve their problems and make them more profitable. From our perspective, there are 8 different levers that we can change in this overall biological system that we call compost. Let me just show you the roots that can be developed if you have good compost. I've already described how if we shift the fungi, we shift the fungal to bacteria ratio and increase the carbon sequestration. But if we increase the amoebas, the flagellates, and the other protozoas, then we can substitute our products for agrochemical fertilizers. If we increase the biochar, we can increase the drought tolerance. And if we increase the beneficial nematodes, we have a substitute for insecticides. SymSoil farms microbes, and all of these are needed in all of their products. What we're talking about is modest tilting of the balance. There's no single microbial solution, such as those offered by bug-in-a-jug companies, that really gives a robust solution that adds resiliency and helps us as humans avoid the fragile systems that are created by the agrochemicals and single point solutions. Our products have thousands of different species. So SymSoil is a startup B Corp. At the end of the day, we farm regionally specific wild soil microbes to restore biodiversity primarily for farmers. We'd love to have you support us by joining the local carbon network. Our break-even point is about 1,000 members, and our goal is to have a couple of dozen in local communities. That way we can ship pallets, have a local pickup, and reduce everybody's carbon footprint. So tell your neighbors, tell your community action groups. We're really striving to reach that critical mass. Secondly, we are, as a startup, looking for investors. So if you or someone you know would be interested in investing in large-scale manufacturing of a product with a 65% gross margin and high cash flow payouts based on achieving economies of scale, please have them reach out to me directly. Thank you.